Hi, I'm Heather Grant, and I'm the media liaison for the Alberta Teachers Association. Thank you for joining us today. The Alberta Teachers Association respectfully acknowledges that we are located on Treaty 6 territory, the traveling route, gathering place, and meeting grounds for many Indigenous peoples whose histories, languages, cultures, and traditions continue to influence our vibrant community. We are grateful for the traditional knowledge keepers and elders who are still with us today and those who have gone before us. We recognize the land as an act of reconciliation and gratitude for those whose territory we reside on or are visiting. Jason Schilling, president of the Alberta Teachers Association, will provide a statement about taking legal action in relation to Bill 2. Once he concludes his statement, he'll answer your questions, starting with those who have joined us in person today. For those of you who have joined us online, please use the raise hand function at the bottom of your screen under the React tab. We'll call upon you in the order your hands are raised, and everyone will have the opportunity to ask a question and a follow-up question. If we have time, we'll answer any additional questions you may have. At this time, I'd like to welcome President Jason Schilling.
Thank you, Heather, and good afternoon, everybody. Today, Alberta's teachers take the next step in defending not only their rights, but the rights of every Albertan who believes that governments must be bound by law, not merely driven by convenience. Last week, the government of Alberta did something no Alberta government has ever done before. It used the notwithstanding clause to silence teachers and strip them of their charter rights. This government's overreaching decision to apply the notwithstanding clause to Bill 2 goes beyond forcing teachers to end a lawful strike, imposing a settlement, and restricting free collective bargaining. It sets a dangerous precedent that threatens the fundamental freedoms and legal protections afforded to all Albertans. And let's call this what it is. It is an abuse of power. This clause was not used to protect children or to preserve democracy or to address an emergency. It was used to win an argument. It was used to crush lawful, peaceful collective action, the same kind of action that built safer workplaces, fair pay, and public education itself. And this is not just a teacher's issue. In every school across this province, teachers are stretched to the breaking point, trying to give students what they deserve in classrooms that have grown too crowded and underfunded. Parents see it, students feel it. What teachers have been asking for are the conditions that allow children to thrive, and they've been silenced for saying so. When a government uses the notwithstanding clause to take away the rights of one group, no one's rights are safe. What began as a dispute over class size and funding has become something far more serious, a question of whether this government believes in the rule of law or merely the rule of power. Teachers who put everything on the line are doing what they've always done, serving their students, keeping learning alive, and holding their communities together. But make no mistake, the fight for justice continues. Today, the Alberta Teachers Association is taking the first legal step to challenge this abuse of power. Public education has a vital role in preparing active citizens to participate in our democracy. Teachers are obliged as professionals to defend democratic institutions, so undertaking this challenge is a step we must take. Therefore, we have filed an originating application in the Alberta Court of King's Bench, the most direct and efficient way to launch a constitutional challenge. In it, we are applying for interlocutory injunction, a motion asking the court to pause the operation of Bill 2 while the full case is heard. In this action, teachers will ask the court to declare that the government's use of the notwithstanding clause was improper and invalid. Declare that the government's attempt to shield itself from judicial review through Section 14 of the Act, the so-called privative clause, is unconstitutional, as it seeks to prevent the courts from doing its job. Also, to declare that Bill 2 violates the freedom of association and freedom of expression guaranteed by Section 2 of the Charter Rights and Freedoms. This legal action is not symbolic, it is necessary. We're standing up for the Charter itself, for the rule of law, and for the limits that protect citizens from arbitrary government decisions. Our message to the government is simple. You may silence teachers in the legislature with Bill 2, but you cannot silence them in the courts. Our message to Albertans is equally clear. This fight belongs to you too. Because if the government can do this to teachers today, it can do it to nurses, to paramedics, to tradespeople, to anyone tomorrow. The rights that we defend are your rights, and we will defend them with everything we have. We will pursue every legal avenue to restore what was taken, not only for teachers, but for the integrity of the charter itself. The association will fight with principle, with purpose, and with deep conviction that the law must serve the people, not the government. This is not the end of a strike. It is a continuation of a stand. Teachers have been forced back to their classrooms, but their courage has not been extinguished. It's only growing, and we will now take this fight to the courts. And through that courage, Alberta will see that justice, though delayed, cannot be denied. Thank you, and I'm more than happy to take your questions.
Steven Satter, Edmonton Journal. If you get this injunction, if the court rules in your favor, will you go back on the picket lines immediately?
We will analyze what we do at that time because it does put us back into a strike position, and we will make sure that we do what is necessary to ensure that the stand that teachers have taken, the position that they've taken around funding and class sizes and classroom conditions will still move forward.
Now, injunction processes are pretty quick. How quickly are you hoping for a decision on this?
Sooner the better.
Miriam, how financially, ready is the ATA to take on this legal battle?
We realize that this is an uphill battle and that it will cost us. But what is the price of freedoms? What is the price of having your rights stripped away? And I think that is a priceless fight that our members are willing to take.
And just my follow is, when was the injunction put out?
This was filed today.
You ever done anything like this before?
Association has done charter challenges before. Actually, we were just talking about this earlier today. My third day in office, we filed a charter challenge because the government was not willing to use the table that was within the arbitration that we had around salary. So we've done this before in the past on several occasions.
With any luck?
We've won some and we've lost some. But the battle is what's important, right? And we know this is an uphill battle. We know that the government has put these provisions in place to get themselves out of this scot-free. But we're still going to take that challenge on because it's not only about us, it's about everybody in this province. All workers, all Albertans have a vested interest in this.
Broader, but we're obviously seeing in Saskatchewan, their trans legislation we sent out to the Supreme Court, and they're thinking that that might be able to set some kind of precedent. I mean, different situations, but do you hope, notwithstanding clauses of both situations, that could have an impact if it goes in their favor?
Well, definitely looking at other situations that are happening across many jurisdictions in the country. So we know that Saskatchewan is one. There are some, I believe in Ontario, some other provisions going on as well. So we're watching that very closely, and we've been fortunate as an association to have had many people from across the country reach out to us to support us in this fight because they realize the seriousness of what has happened here in Alberta.
You say that you're going to pursue every legal avenue. Let's say the court does not grant you the injunction. What happens next?
We'll continue on with the major case that we're moving forward with, the constitutional challenge.
Okay, if we don't have any more questions here in person, we're going to move online. I don't currently see any hands up at the moment, so I'll give you a moment to gather your thoughts. Morgan, if you can go ahead and unmute yourself, please.
Hi, Mr. Schilling. Thanks for taking my question. I'm just wondering, to what extent are you prepared to push this legal challenge down the road? Like, if the government counters? How far are you willing to take this fight?
We're willing to go the distance because standing up for your rights in this province matters. This fight matters. And it's not just a teacher's fight. This is everybody's fight in this province. Everybody who's listening to this conference right now, everybody who's going to read this story later. This is your fight too. We all have a vested interest in it, and we will take it to the distance.
And then as a follow-up, I'm sure that you've received legal advice on this. What did the ATA's lawyers indicate was the possibility of success when I know we haven't seen a lot of uses of the notwithstanding clause. So what was your lawyer's input on how this could go for the ATA?
Well, there is, we know this is an uphill battle, as I said before, but we know that the challenge is worth it. So it's a risk that we're willing to take as an association on behalf of our members, on behalf of the charter itself, and on behalf of all Albertans.
Thank you for your question. I'm going to go to Janet now. Please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, Jason. How long will it take you or the ATA to file the broader charter challenge?
I believe both were tabled today. Or filed today, sorry.
Okay, so the broader charter challenge, it's an application for injunction and the broader charter challenge both filed today.
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct.
So obviously one might assume or guess that your war chests are a little bit depleted by the strike and covering folks' benefits during that strike. Will the ATA or is the ATA accepting donations or financial contributions from other organizations? If you're saying it's everybody's fight, are you accepting contributions from other organizations to help you cover these legal fees?
You know, throughout the strike, we actually received donations from all sorts of organizations, including other unions across Canada, to support teachers during the strike. And we will continue to accept donations from other organizations if they see it's a value for them to be involved in this fight. And we will welcome that because, like I said, this is everyone's fight.
Thank you for your question. Graham, please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead, please.
Okay, great. Yeah, sorry, I'm coming in a bit late. I apologize. I was wondering though, on a sort of a related topic, and that is this idea of the unprecedented response from Gil McGowan and the AFL and union leaders. That hasn't materialized. Now, it seems they're still working on it. But what's your response to that? The idea was if the government, of course, brings in a notwithstanding clause, there'd be this massive reaction from the labor movement, and we have not seen that. So what's your response to that?
Well, we know that when it comes to actions from labor, that it takes time to organize, that we respect the democratic processes that each union has in order to get themselves organized. So that work is underway right now. Those meetings are still happening. Unions are still talking to their members. They're still talking to each other about the fact that this action took place last week. And let's not forget just how quickly this was pushed through the legislature last week, tabled at 6 o'clock and passed by 2 a.m. And that's unprecedented in itself. And so we need to make sure that we hold government to account not only for using the notwithstanding clause, but also playing loose and fast with their parliamentary rules as well.
Okay, and as a follow-up, then how important is it to what you're doing to have the labor movement then actually do something? The unprecedented response. How important is it for the ATA to see that kind of thing develop?
We have seen support from unions not only here in Alberta, public and private, but across Canada and from the United States. The support for what has happened to teachers here is immense, and we will continue to work together to make sure that we keep that support and this momentum moving forward.
Thank you for your questions. Stephanie, please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Stephanie Thomas, CTV Calgary. Thank you, Jason. At risk of making you repeat yourself, you did mention that this is everyone's fight. Are you in support of a general strike? Are you having discussions with the AFL? Is this a call to action?
We are members of the Common Front, but quite honestly, I can't stand here in front of a microphone and talk about strike action because my rights have been stripped away. It is actually illegal for me to do that under Bill 2. So let that sink in for a moment. I'm standing here in front of you and I have less rights than you do under Bill 2. They've been stripped away. So yeah, I support the other unions supporting Albertans and teachers in this province. But I can't go as far as to say what other unions might say or do because they have their own choices. And I can't go as far as saying what other unions can say because I don't have the same rights as other people in this province.
Thank you. And my follow-up is very similar to my colleague Janet French, is just about the cost of mounting these legal challenges. I'm hoping you can give me some kind of ballpark here in terms of maybe what, the expected legal fees would be, or maybe can you tell me a bit about the donation amount that maybe has come in since fall 2025?
I wouldn't be able to actually give you the numbers for either of those questions. My apologies on that.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions online at this time, so we'll return to the room if there's any other questions here.
James Dunn, City News. Are you open to maybe getting more organizations involved into this legal challenge as interveners?
Yes, there is an ability for others to apply as intervener status on this court case, and they will work with our legal firm on that.
You are taking maybe a bit of a historic step to maybe challenge notwithstanding clause. I don't recall any other organization taking this step. There's the chance the court just throws it all away. Are you prepared to maybe take all this time to mount the challenge and all of a sudden it just goes?
When it comes to restoring our rights, yeah, I'm willing to take that risk and I'm willing to take that challenge on because it's important. It matters to my colleagues who are working in classrooms across this province right now. It matters to everybody about this. And so, yeah, we're willing to take that challenge.
Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions in the room. I don't see any additional questions online. I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up there.
Great. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I appreciate it.